What's up, you guys? Welcome back to WideBody Nation. New car MSRPs are going up at a concerningly fast rate. I mean, not just from 2022 to 2023 model year, but I've been watching these since 2020, and 2021 to 2022 was also a big jump for a lot of manufacturers. We're not just talking one or two, we're talking pretty much industry wide MSRPs have gone up, and also the incentives have disappeared as well. So we're talking a double whammy, really a triple whammy, because interest rates are so bad now as well. So if you guys are not tracking this, I would suggest staying through the video to see all of the different manufacturers that this is happening to, with some extra analysis on the back end. I'll use Dodge as an example on their website, and I have the prices pulled up from 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. With that being said, our info today comes from Your Auto Advocate, which I believe they're called YAA now. I'm sure it was a branding or a copyright issue, but I have the top 10 worst increases, and some of these are like blow your mind bad. If you guys are not protected yet, if you're Mopar, TRX, Ram TRX, Dodge Charger, Challenger is not protected yet, Durango coming soon. Go to destroyer1320.com, use code WBN, and that gets you 20% off. If you don't know what this is, I would suggest doing some research, because I got to get to the video here, folks, and I don't want your car to get stolen. So we're on joinyaa.com. If you guys don't follow YAA or Your Auto Advocate on YouTube, I highly recommend it. And with that being said, let's jump right in. We have the Honda Civic, which is a it used to be a sub $20,000 car. Now it's obviously not that cheap, but it has gone from 23,845 up to 25,745, which is an 8% increase. Now, you guys might be looking at it as far as just like the cash value goes, as far as 23 going up to 25, about a $2,000 increase, but that's a $2,000 increase on a $23,000 car, which is almost a 10% increase, which I've already said, but that's in 1 year, folks. That's also on a brand that barely offers any financing incentives and any cash off. They'll be like, oh yeah, $500 off for a college student or $500 off for military. But they're not giving you $1, $2, $5,000 off these cars. And they sell these things like hotcakes. There's never a problem selling Hondas. So the fact that they're raising the MSRP by 8% is very concerning to me, especially on what would be considered like an entry-level economy car. Obviously, this is the Type R, which is not $25,000. That is, I think, much closer to 40, 45, something like that. Next, we have the Chevy Silverado, 1500. Obviously, this is not an HD truck, but going up 5%. Now, these trucks, you may or may not see some incentives coming out, because the amount of these trucks that Chevy sells is high. Now, when I went to a Chevy dealer about 2 weeks ago, they did not have a lot on the lot. They did not have a lot of trucks on the lot, which was concerning because it was very slim pickings, and they know they're going to sell these cars. Up by 5%, which constitutes about $2,300. 5% is about where I would say it's getting concerning, but it's not like setting off absolute like alarms in my head. 5%, 2 to 5% up every year, I would say, is probably close to the industry average, because the target inflation is about 2.2% for the entire US economy. So depending on if they did a redesign, a model redesign, or added a bunch of new features or whatever it may be, 5% is still, I would say, palatable. We have the Hyundai Palisade. These and the Kia Tellurides were crazy during 2021 and 2022. I heard of people paying 5, 10, up to 20 grand over for these Kias and Hyundais, which, if you told someone that in 2019, they would have bet the lottery against you that was just not going to happen. These have gone up by almost $3,000, about $2,500, 6.4%, and these are just the base prices, folks. Too, we're talking starting base price here. So remember, they can make a lot more money on the options that they add on there. They can make cruise control, they can make adaptive cruise control go from a $599 option to a $999 option. There's plenty of places where these dealerships and these manufacturers are eking out profit. Here's where we're going to start to get pretty wild. Jeep Compass, which I don't know how Jeep is still even selling these, but I guess it's kind of like their entry level Jeep. Up 10% on another entry level, compact crossover SUV, but it's a crossover. Gone up as much as $3,000, like $3,500 on just like a high 20s to a low $30,000 car. I mean, this is concerning. I mean, they're right here about on this article. They used to be throwing money at you that you could finance these for basically 0%. You would get extra cash off. You'd be walking out of the dealership for low 20s financed, and that was with like no down payment. So getting expensive. This one does not surprise me very much. Toyota with the Tundras, with the Tacomas, they're selling these like hotcakes. Everyone loves these. Everyone's a Toyota junkie, and not very surprised here. The fact that you can buy a Tundra for $75,000 is concerning to me, but it is what it is. I'm not surprised by this one bit. It's a redesigned Tundra. Obviously, they're going to increase MSRP. Now, the CRV is going up by 16%, which is $4,000 to $5,000 on I guess you could call it mid-level crossover. They're supposed to be more of an economy crossover. Obviously, they're kind of the bread and butter. CRVs, RAV4s are the move, but holy cow! I mean, that's humongous. I mean, it looks like they redesigned it and all that, but like going up 16%, it's going to start pricing people out of the market. The CX9, Mazda CX9, going up 8.4%. It's crazy because Mazda and Subaru had like no cars on their lot, so I guess they're trying to eke out some profit for the little amount of cars that actually make it to the lots. Now, granted, they're catching up, but can you just see what's going on here? There's literally every brand is just jacking up these MSRPs, which is just the place that you start from. I mean, you still have, this has tax implications, this has financing implications, and just in general, this is getting ridiculous. Like I said, this is not even including options. The options they could be really greasing you guys on. I don't have time in a video to go to every single website and see what the option difference is, but I mean, this is insane. The Kia EV6, obviously EVs are kind of the hype right now, although the EV market is softening, and this has gone up 16, almost 17%, which constitutes about $7,000 increase. I mean, this is going from like an expensive entry-level EV to starting to get into that mid-range where you're talking, $50,000 for a Kia EV. You're starting to talk some pretty real money here. Now with these EVs, the government is offering a $7,500 tax credit. I need to look into like the ins and outs of the tax credit to kind of give you guys my better opinion of how that works. But obviously, when these tax credits come out, manufacturers know this and they just ratchet up the price almost that exact amount so that they pocket it rather than you pocketing it. I mean, does that not surprise you guys that with 2023, the tax credit being $7,500, they raised the price $7,100? So you get $400 of that. Kia gets $7,100 of that tax credit. If we're talking like kind of like be all end all. Wow, I did not think Toyota Sequoias could get any more expensive, but apparently they can. Going up 15, almost 16%. That is anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000, depending on your trim levels. I mean, the only redeeming quality for these Toyotas is that they generally have great resale value. So, in theory, you're not going to lose your shirt in 2, 5, 10 years because this car will still be worth something. Hopefully, be worth more than you have in it. This one is the shocker, but actually not a shocker. Ford F-150 Lightning. I cannot believe they had the nerve to jack the price up from 58 to 97 grand. Like, they're raising the price, 17 grand, anywhere from 17 grand to, and you could pay $100,000 for one of these at MSRP. That is bananas. Again, EV tax credit. Ford capitalizing on it. They kind of split the difference here because the top trim is not as jacked up, but the bottom trim going from 41,000 to 58,000. That is preposterous. And that's the thing too on these. You guys have probably seen, but all the YouTubers that have actually bought these and actually try to like tow with them or use them in the winter, people are getting less than 100 miles of range with these cars, which is, it's just not tenable. I mean, you would have to just use it to literally just go to and from somewhere, then charge it 100%. To and from somewhere, like, there's no way you could go anywhere, even if you got to like the superchargers or whatever it is. This is just not a viable vehicle currently, and that's one of the reasons the EV market is kind of But here's the full chart, which I'll link to this website. Obviously, it's a very informative website in the description. But I want to show you guys kind of what Dodge has been doing, because Dodge actually pulled this trick on you guys a few years ago. It was from 2021 to 2022. Now, Dodge, first of all, they are terrible because they still have not updated their website. It's still 2022's, even though 2023's have already started hitting lots. And this is classic Dodge. They're just IT information, IT infrastructure is terrible. But what do we expect from them? And they're trying, you guys can see this, the horsepower locator, they are trying their best to inspire urgency, which is one of the main ways to drive sales at high prices. They're trying to make it you urgently impatient for your 2023 because it's the last year and there's limited production models and there's special editions. They are trying to squeeze every dollar out of their loyal customer base before they basically screw you guys and only sell EVs that are cool. And oh, by the way, you cannot modify the EVs at all. Some people like to modify their Teslas and have done a little crazy stuff, but you guys got to remember, these EVs, I mean, we think modding our normal new cars is hard with the new ECUs and all the firewalls and programming, but I mean, EVs, it's going to be game over. So let's check out 2020 all the way to 2023 Dodge pricing. Started at $29,995 in 2020. 2021, they actually kept it the same, but the difference between 2020 and 2021 was power dollars and interest rates. You got to remember that 2020 and earlier, Dodge was doing $10 per horsepower incentive and sometimes even better on the lower models. So you could reasonably get 10 to 20% off of your car just in cash off incentives. And they were not doing markups. Other than the Demon, they were not doing markups at all. So like in 2019, if you were buying a Redeye that had 797 horsepower, you were getting, probably like an $80,000 car, but you were getting $7,970 off, which basically put it down to a $72,000 car. And that was for a Redeye. In 2020, they started getting a little sketchy by the end of 2020. And you guys have seen my videos back from then. They started tweaking down the power dollars. Granted, the interest rates back then were still good, but the power dollars started to kind of dissolve. For example, in 2021, when I bought my Charger Hellcat Redeye WideBody, the sticker was $82,500, but I still got $6,000 off, which was kind of like the modified power dollars. It was a cash off incentive, the retail consumer customer cash. And so, that made my car with some other little wheeling and dealing. I only financed, about $75,000 with no down payment. And that was on a 2021 Dodge Charger Redeye WideBody, which was the hot car of the day. So we're going from just under $30,000, and then boom, we jump up to 31.5, which not humongous. That's only about a 5% increase, but those higher trim levels went up by thousands and thousands of dollars. The Redeye wide bodies, they went up considerably. And for 2022, that's when they introduced the JAILBREAK, which, yes, the JAILBREAK option was only $995, but they actually limited your options for non-jailbreaks and they kind of forced you to do jailbreaks almost. So Dodge is no stranger to this because they They did it in 2021 to 2022, and the double whammy was that they took away power dollars. So the only good incentive was the interest rates, which were 0% for a long time. And so you had no financing charges, but you didn't really have the whole cash off, like power dollars option. 2023 looks like we jumped up another almost $1,500 for the entry level, which, I mean, it's just, you guys have seen it. SCAT packs easily over 50 grand now. Most SCAT packs are honestly transacting new around the $60,000 mark, which that was, 3 years ago, that was like base model Hellcat brand new territory, because you had power dollars, because you had narrow body Hellcats, and because, Dodge had to beg people to buy the cars. Dodge was not they weren't the social media kingpin. There weren't as many takeovers. There weren't as many car meets, car clubs that were just Dodge only. So the demand just wasn't there. So now we find ourselves in 2023, and Dodge is able to not only demand these crazy high MSRPs, but they're really not offering great incentives either. I mean, look at this. We'll look at these. Yes, the cash allowances have come back a little bit, but look at these interest rates. The promotional rate, folks, this is supposed to be the best rate they can give you, 7.26% for 60 months. And that's on the lowest of the low and the highest of the high trims. If you're financing at 7.26% for 60 months on an $89,000 to $90,000 or to $100,000 car, I mean, bananas. This is a 2022. The MSRP for my 2021 was, the starting MSRP was right around the low 80s. I want to say it was like 80 or 81. Maybe it was even $79.95 if you don't include the delivery fee, which is like usually like $1,500 or so. That also has the gas guzzler in it, I believe. But we're talking about a 10% increase from 2021 to 2022. And then I would assume that they're going to go ahead and ratchet these up another few grand because it's the last year. So in summary, all these manufacturers are doing it. One of the reasons they're doing this is so that they can bring back incentives. So they're like, oh, here, look, we're doing $1 grand, $2 grand, $4 grand off, and we're giving you a deal. Because a lot of times that makes people feel like they're getting a good deal, even if they're really getting taken out to the cleaners. But some of these jumps right here, I mean, 8, 10, 16, 40%. Ford is a garbage brand with the Ford Lightning, and they're raising it 40%. Are they out of their mind? But I guess they're not out of their mind, because the government is doing the $7,500 tax credit. With that being said, I think my next video that I'm going to film is about the $7,500 tax credit, because believe it or not every EV qualifies for that $7,500 tax credit, even though, I mean, EVs are supposed to be saving the world. Why would they not qualify? But appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you guys have not checked out YAA, check them out on YouTube and their website. If you guys have not protected your Charger, Challenger, 300C, TRX, Durango, Trackhawk, Rebel, SRT, whatever you got to go to destroyer1320.com, because I really can't do anything for you once your car is stolen, because I'm not the police, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an insurance company. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys for the next video.